This futuristic story begins by showing a part of America that had been devastated by numerous wars and natural disasters, leading to a collapsed economy. Chaos had spread everywhere, and as a result, the government had fallen apart. Resources had become extremely scarce, but there were still some wealthy individuals who remained far above the rest in status. These rich individuals pooled their money together, formed a private team, and took control of all the remaining resources, creating an exclusive society known as capital. Meanwhile, all the poor people were pushed away and divided into 13 outlying districts. Within these 13 districts, people were arranged according to their socio-economic status. The responsibility of the wealthy elite was to provide some resources to the poor, but they never saw them as equals and instead treated them with complete disrespect. However, the people from the 13 outlying districts could only endure this oppression for so long. Eventually, they united and launched an attack on the elite group known as Capital, igniting a massive war. But the rich people had a far superior army, and as a result, every single person in District 13 was slaughtered. Witnessing this massacre, the remaining districts retreated in fear, leading to their ultimate defeat, and the wealthy once again emerged victorious. Now, we are introduced to two children who belonged to the Capital Group but had run away into the district's territories. They wanted to see how the people in the districts lived. However, as soon as they stopped at one place, a wild dog approached them, barking aggressively and preparing to attack. The boy quickly threw his bag at the dog to distract it, and both of them ran and hid behind a statue. While hiding, they witnessed something horrifying. A man from the district was eating the flesh of another human to satisfy his hunger. This sight was terrifying for the children, and they immediately fled back to their own territory. Despite belonging to a royal family, when the children returned home to their grandmother, she gave them devastating news. She told them that their father had been killed by the people of District 12. The poor had come to believe that the rich saw them as nothing more than insects, and they felt it was necessary to teach them a lesson. As time passed, wars like this occurred several times a year. But the capital society eventually came up with a solution, a system called the Treaty of Treason. This was a game where individuals from each district and community were selected to fight in a brutal battle. A team would be chosen from each district, and they would fight to the death. The last one standing would be rewarded by the Capital Group. This system successfully reduced the conflicts between the capital and the districts, as people now had a way to earn rewards without waging all-out war. However, this game was anything but ordinary. It was a life-or-death battle. Now, we are introduced to a man named Coriolanus, who lived with his mother and his cousin, Tigris. Corio's family had once been wealthy, but due to the war, their factories had shut down, and their status had significantly declined. If the capital society discovered this, they would be exiled. To avoid this, Corio was doing everything he could to earn money and was desperately trying to secure a scholarship at the university. Corio was a mentor, one of the individuals responsible for training the participants chosen for the annual games. Since these games were watched by audiences worldwide, they had to be highly entertaining. All the mentors gathered for an assembly, where a dwarf-like man named Casca explained how the games worked. Shockingly, Casca was the one who had designed the entire game. He told the mentors that each of them would be assigned a player, and that it was their responsibility to train them well. The mentor of the winning team would also receive a scholarship. Hearing this, Corio felt hopeful because now he had a real chance to secure his scholarship. Corio was highly skilled in combat. Casca then displayed the chosen participants from various districts on a screen, selecting them for the upcoming battle. When it was Corio's turn, he was assigned a woman named Lucy from District 12. Since lower-numbered districts were considered poorer, the assumption was that their participants would die quickly. Corio was furious that he had to train Lucy, who seemed weak and frail. When all the selected participants were gathered in an open ground, Lucy was called onto the stage. Although she appeared weak, she was brimming with attitude. On her way to the stage, she played a prank on another woman by putting something in her clothes, causing her discomfort. However, when Lucy reached the stage, a mentor struck her, simply because she was poor, and mistreating the poor was considered normal. But Lucy's facial expression didn't change. Instead, she started singing. Corio was impressed by her attitude, realizing that confidence and defiance were also crucial traits in battle. When all the participants were being led away, Corio approached Lucy and offered her a flower. However, Lucy unexpectedly ate the flower right in front of him. Now, All the players were packed into a truck to be transported to the battleground. One participant desperately tried to escape, as he had been forced into the game against his will. Seizing the opportunity, Koryo, though it was unclear why, also got into the truck with them. The truck quickly sped toward the battleground. Inside, several participants were envious of Koryo's status and attempted to attack him. But Lucy warned them that it would be a terrible idea, advising them to stay in their places. In a way, Lucy was also supporting Koryo. Upon arrival, all the players were locked inside a massive cage where they would be kept together. Reporters had also arrived, covering the presence of Koryo, a member of the Capital Society, among the players. He was asked why he was there when his role was only to train the participants, not to participate himself. Koryo explained that he wanted to experience firsthand what the players went through. When higher management learned of this, they quickly removed Koryo from the battleground. As he was being taken away, Lucy pleaded for food, saying that many of them hadn't eaten in days. This statement deeply affected Koryo, and he decided to do something about it. Casca then held a meeting with all the mentors, where many demanded that Koryo be punished for breaking the rules of their society. However, a professor named Gall intervened, arguing that Koryo's actions had increased viewership since many people were repeatedly watching the footage. One of Koryo's classmates, Seth, went against him, stating that helping the poor went against their moral values and should not be done. But Koryo saw an opportunity and proposed an idea: viewers should be allowed to donate food to the players, which would not only provide sustenance but also boost engagement with the game. Gall found this plan interesting and agreed to consider it, on the condition that Koryo submit a written proposal. After class, Koryo and Seth went to the cage where the players were being held and provided them with food. However, many refused to accept it, seeing it as an insult to their dignity. But when Koryo respectfully handed food to Lucy, she accepted it and shared it with her fellow players. Meanwhile, another rich woman was seen tormenting a starving participant by withholding water. Enraged, the player attacked her, shoving a water bottle into her throat and killing her instantly. Koryo tried to intervene, but it was too late. The attacker was then executed for his actions. Realizing how fast things were escalating, Koryo wrote down all his ideas and submitted the proposal to the higher-ups. His document explained that allowing viewers to donate food to players would maintain engagement and improve the overall entertainment value of the game. Later, Koryo, Seth, and their classmate Livia were summoned to Gall's office. Gall's entire office was filled with various types of animals and insects, as she had a deep fascination with them. Livia, wanting to take credit for Koryo's idea, claimed that she had been the one to suggest it. However, Gall told them that the papers had accidentally fallen among a group of snakes with iridescent, rainbow-colored skin. She then instructed them to retrieve the papers from the snakes, stating that only then would she determine who deserved credit. Lia started thinking that she would quickly snatch that paper, and the snakes wouldn't attack her. But as soon as she extended her hand, one of the snakes bit her. Lia fell to the ground, writhing in pain, and soon, some people rushed in to give her an antidote. Meanwhile, Gall gave Coriolanus good news that she had accepted his proposal, meaning that sponsors could still donate to players at will. At least this way, the poor players wouldn't have to face starvation. Now, we are shown a massive battleground where each mentor was present with their player. The mentors were supposed to guide the players on how to advance and fight others. Lucy was also there with Coriolanus, and the two were strategizing carefully. However, suddenly, the entire battleground started collapsing, and massive pillars from above came crashing down, wreaking havoc. Many players lost their lives in the process. Even Lucy's hand slipped from Coriolanus's grip, and a pillar fell on his hand. Lucy tried to save Coriolanus and was even pulling him out, but at that moment, some soldiers captured Lucy and took her away. Soon, Coriolanus was sent to the medical team for treatment, and Sejanus was also there. Sejanus revealed that among all the players, a player named Marcus had come to plant bombs. It was a plan by the rebels to cause destruction. The soldiers tried to capture Marcus, but in the explosion, several mentors and players lost their lives. After a few days of recovery, Coriolanus returned to the ruined battleground, where new battles were set to take place soon. He was actually looking for hiding spots so that he could help Lucy. In his search, he found multiple concealed places and large tunnels where someone could survive longer. He made maps of these places and went to Lucy to explain everything to her. He guided her on where to go and how to hide. Lucy was quite impressed with Coriolanus for helping her so much, but now, everything depended on her, and she had to survive till the end. The next day, all players were gathered, and Marcus, the bomber, was also captured and tied in the middle of the battleground. Meanwhile, all the mentors were in the control room, monitoring their players on the screen. A new host arrived to narrate the events. Soon, the game began, and all the players started attacking each other. Although the game was about survival till the end, the players were desperate to eliminate each other quickly so that they could be the last ones standing. Coriolanus was extremely worried because Lucy wasn't going to the hidden places he had told her about. Instead, she was in the middle of the battleground, surrounded by multiple players attacking her. Within the first few minutes, many players were killed. Their mentors also left the control room as they had no role left in the game. Coriolanus anxiously hoped that nothing would happen to Lucy. Meanwhile, Lucy noticed her ally, Jacob, who was badly injured. She carried Jacob to one of the hidden places that Coriolanus had mentioned. The two kept moving forward, which was visible on the monitor. However, more players with knives had arrived, ready to kill anyone in their way. Lucy started heading toward a narrow path where they couldn't follow, but Jacob got stuck. Luckily, the arrival of other players distracted them. Meanwhile, inside the battleground, a woman named Maya attempted to free Marcus, the bomber. But realizing that he had no way to escape, she killed him herself, giving him a merciful death. This act earned Maya a lot of points, and viewers sent her a water bottle as a donation via a drone. However, she couldn't catch it, and the bottle was destroyed. Lucy and Jacob were now in a dark place where dirty water was flowing, and they were extremely thirsty. Lucy wanted to help Jacob, but he was angry at her, believing that if he had stayed in the battleground, it would have been better than this situation, even if it meant dying. Jacob started tormenting Lucy in frustration. Meanwhile, the host announced that only 10 players were left, and the final battle was about to begin. Coriolanus saw Jacob chasing Lucy, trying to kill her, as he hadn't drunk water in days. Lucy climbed up to save herself, and Coriolanus quickly threw a water bottle, which hit Jacob hard on the face, knocking him unconscious. Lucy thought Jacob was dead, so she bid him farewell and left. Unfortunately, the remaining players started gathering in one spot, surrounding Lucy. They were working together as a team to survive till the end. Coriolanus then sent multiple drones carrying water bottles. The distraction gave Lucy a chance to gather as many bottles as she could. Meanwhile, the other players began fighting each other. They first targeted Maya, the woman who had killed Marcus. The remaining players continuously attacked her until she was finally eliminated. However, Lucy had a plan that Coriolanus had told her about. She collected all the water bottles and poured poisonous powder into one of them. Then, she smashed the other bottles and left the poisoned one in place. Lucy then hid inside a small chamber that could only be opened from the inside, ensuring her safety. One of the remaining players, extremely thirsty, found the poisoned water bottle and drank from it, unaware of the trap. Within minutes, she collapsed and died in agony. Seeing her condition, her teammates screamed in horror. By then, most of the players had already been killed. One black male player placed cloth over the dead bodies as a sign of respect and then turned to the cameras, blaming the game makers for all this destruction. At that moment, Gaul appeared in a video message, announcing that the players deserved punishment because they had given Marcus an easy death instead of making him suffer. She declared that regardless of who won, all players would die. This was the most terrifying stage of the game. Gaul planned to release the rainbow snakes into the battleground to kill everyone. Coriolanus was shocked, but quickly came up with an idea. He knew that Gaul's rainbow snakes wouldn't attack someone whose body scent they were already familiar with. So, he placed Lucy's hand chip among the pile of snakes, ensuring they recognized her scent. Meanwhile, Lucy was still inside, but more players were trying to kill her with sharp weapons. Her life was in grave danger. Using the remaining poison powder, she killed one of the attackers. Another player attempted to strike her, but just then, a massive drone arrived carrying a container full of snakes. The next moment, the deadly snakes were released into the battleground. The venomous snakes bit every player they encountered, killing them instantly. No one could escape them. One player even tried to attack Lucy, but he, too, was bitten and died. However, when the snakes reached Lucy, they already recognized her scent, so they didn't harm her. Instead, they slowly slithered off her body. Seeing this, the mentors in the control room cheered with excitement. They all agreed that Lucy was the rightful winner. Even Gaul had to announce, based on consensus, that Lucy had won. Coriolanus was relieved and overjoyed to see Lucy safe. However, soon after, Coriolanus was summoned by Casca. Casca had discovered the poison powder box and the hacking chip that Coriolanus had used to help Lucy, which was against all the rules. As punishment, Casca revoked his scholarship and exiled him from the capital, sending him to District 10, a place where only the poor lived in miserable conditions. Coriolanus was essentially cast out and labeled as a commoner. But Coriolanus had a plan. He wanted to go to District 13 because that's where Lucy lived. In District 13, he was given a soldier's job to enforce rules, but in reality, he and others like him were treated like slaves. After working for some time, Coriolanus went to a pub with his friend Sejanus, where he saw Lucy sing. However, Lucy's ex-boyfriend arrived and started harassing her. This led to a huge fight, with Lucy's fans joining in. When her ex-boyfriend tried to attack her, Coriolanus stepped in and beat him up badly before escaping with Sejanus. The next day, Coriolanus met Lucy, and the two shared a kiss, realizing they loved each other. Lucy told him they couldn't meet openly and gave him the address of a lake where they could meet and live together. Coriolanus and Lucy started living like a couple, happily together. Coriolanus, who was once a rich capital citizen, didn't even care about his past status anymore. He was content with Lucy in District 13. However, Coriolanus still wanted to bring equality to the poor, but Lucy convinced him that he couldn't change the world alone. She assured him that they could live happily together, free from burdens. Coriolanus agreed, and they continued their life peacefully. Thus, our adventurous story comes to an end. So, viewers, how did you like this story? Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. If you enjoyed my explanation even a little, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.